Welcome to my session, Your Intelligent Workplace with Microsoft Teams and AI Builder. My name is Nicole and I will show you how you can build a custom solution and integrate it into Microsoft Teams. I am not sure how excited you are about Project Octave, which will be a super cool integration into Microsoft Teams. And I will show you what you can do while we are waiting for several features in Project Octave. Okay, first, a few words to introduce myself. My name is Nicole Enders. I'm working as a team lead in the section of cloud workplace solutions at CONET. That's a company in Germany. And while I'm not working for CONET, I'm doing a lot of community stuff. So I have my own blog. It was a little bit silent during the past months because I was working on 2 new books. That's one of my other hobbies. So I have a SharePoint background. I started with SharePoint in the version of 2007. And in 2012, I was asked if I want to write a book for power users. So SharePoint 2013 for power users was my first book. And today the 2019 version is up to date. I'm also writing for Office 365 or Microsoft 365 with the focus on collaboration. So how can you use the different tools? How can you combine them to build your modern workplace? And my newest books is about Microsoft Teams. So I explain everything from the beginning. How do I start chatting or starting my first phone call? And then I explain how you can build your teams, how you can enhance everything and integrate your business process. The books are all in German. My blog is in English and German. And you also find me on Twitter and LinkedIn. So please contact me. Let's have a chat. I always like to meet new people. And even in these days, everything is virtual. So these are our platforms to stay in contact. Since this year, I'm an MVP for Office apps and services. And my main topics, I think you got it to the books, is on the one side, social internet and modern workplace and collaboration. And on the other hand, I really love the Power Platform. So I've built a lot of solutions based on SharePoint, and the Power Platform is such a good product suite. So you will see only one glimpse of this in this session, but please have a look out there. There are a lot of great sessions which you can attend and then get more information right there. Yeah, and before I start with the session itself, I want to thank you for all the sponsors. Sponsors are really important to host such an event. So please, let's have a look what different sponsors offer for you, and maybe you find some solutions which help you to build your intelligent or modern workplace. And you don't have to implement everything by your own. So, but now let's start collaboration with Microsoft 365. I called my session Building the Intelligent Workplace with Microsoft 365 because I want to show you how you can use the AI Builder and then build your own apps and use them in Microsoft Teams, because for me, Microsoft Teams is the most important tool at the moment. And if you go to office.com and you log in with your credentials, then you will see a screen like this. So you have a lot of tools out there, but don't don't talk about the tools themselves. For me, the more important question is, which are your collaboration tools which you really need? So working together on a document is, for example, very important use case for me. In my company, I write a lot of documents. So we write proposals, I write a concept, I need to write documentations and so on. And you have all the other documents like service reports, invoices, and so on. And there are some documents where I'm writing on my own for the whole time, but there are also documents where I could collaborate with other people. And before we had the right tools, um, it's a nice story. I had to write my documents, so I had a first draft version, and then I sent it as an email attachment to my colleagues. Maybe 2 or 3 of them, because I needed different information. And then they got my email, they edited the document, and then they sent it back to me. And yeah, now it was my fault. So I didn't tell them that they don't forward this document to other persons. So one of my colleagues did this, and then I got 5 versions back. And I had all the work to aggregate this information into one document. So it was really hard. And at the end, I was thinking, maybe I could have done the work by my own. But as we see here, we have tools to help me in this situation. So as we introduced SharePoint in our company many years ago now, but I remember this moment. It was so nice. I could send a link to my document to my colleagues, and we had one central document, and everybody could work on this. And today it's so cool. So I can see what the artists are entering in the document. We can have a chat about this. It's really, really cool. And I won't miss this. OneDrive is another tool which is really good because it's my personal document storage. I can share documents right there. And you will see in our scenario for this session, we will see SharePoint in action. Another section is everything about exchanging information with different focus. So exchanging information with each other in an ad hoc way. That means chat or phone calls. That's one of my main use cases for Microsoft Teams at the moment. Spreading company-wide information. This can be an intranet, maybe based on SharePoint. And building a corporate network or even external networks. That's a use case for Yammer. And I'm working for service providers. So we are doing a lot of projects, and managing tasks and sharing knowledge is very important for us. So managing tasks can be done with Planner, for example, and sharing knowledge. Yes, we all know Word, and we know maybe the SharePoint wiki and so on, but I would recommend that you think about if you can share your knowledge via short videos. So with Stream, for example, or you can do some quiz via forms, or you can collect data via forms if you want to ask your colleagues or your employees. about several topics. And because this is our topic today, you can support business processes. There are a lot of standard processes, and there are good tools out there like Dynamics 365. But if you have small business processes, or if you're thinking about that you could automate something, then the Power Platform is the right way for you. So maybe you start with a flow via Power Automate, and you add it to a SharePoint list or library, or you build a mobile app via Power Apps. Maybe you need some dashboards with Power BI, or the newest member here in the family with Power Virtual Agents. You build a nice chatbot, and you have a different way of collecting data or to start or to trigger a business process. In our scenario today, I will show you a combination with Microsoft Teams, and as Teams uses SharePoint in the background to store documents, we will see SharePoint there again, and we'll use Power Apps, and maybe I will show you a flow at the end of this story. Okay, so Microsoft Teams, I'm sure you heard a lot of about Microsoft Teams, but for everybody who is quite new, I want to talk about what you can do with Microsoft Teams. So you can support project teams. The project team can have its own team room. You can create channels for the different parts of the project, or maybe the project lead has a different channel, and you can even invite your customer to the team. And this can be an internal customer, but this can also be an external customer. And this means what I'm thinking about collaboration. So collaboration doesn't stop at within your company. You can collaborate with customers and partners or suppliers. You can use Teams also to support communities. So think about a public team. Everybody can see this. Everybody can join the team. You can share your knowledge and so on. You can start ad hoc meetings, or you can schedule a meeting. And for sure, you can do phone calls. You can also do video calls. And you can do events. So this can be a small event, but this can also be a large event with thousands of people. You have to think about if you will do this with only a few speakers and many attendees who have a Q&A section, or if you want to have an interactive meeting. Do you want to do an event like splitting up a large group into smaller ones? There you will find the buzzword breakout rooms, which is quite new now. And there's a special version for homeschooling. So if we are thinking about the current situation and that we maybe will have the case that the kids have to do homeschooling again, then Microsoft Teams can be an option too. Last but not least, you can integrate your business processes into Microsoft Teams so you can support workflows without leaving the application you start every morning. Microsoft Teams itself, it's the collaboration tool in Microsoft 365. And for me, it's my central entry point. So in the past, I opened Outlook as the first application every morning. Today, it's definitely Microsoft Teams. So I activated the option for the auto start, and I find everything there. So if somebody wants to reach me, he calls me via Teams, or he writes me a chat message, um, or maybe he mentions me in a Teams chat. And what I really like is that Microsoft Teams aggregates different services. And this can be a Microsoft 365 service like SharePoint or Planner, or as we will see later in the demo, Power Apps. But you can also integrate different cloud services or even a website. So if you are using a tool and you want to use this in your team room, then you can do this. And today, for me, it's not so important, but if I think back a few months ago, the mobile apps were quite important for me. So last year, this time, I was traveling a lot of. I was spending a lot of time at different airports, and I could stay in touch with my team via the mobile app of Microsoft Teams. So I was joining daily stand-up meetings. I could read several messages, and I didn't miss an information, and my team could reach me and ask questions. So that is really important for me as well. And if we have a closer look to Microsoft Teams, then you see here we have different teams. You can split up a team in different channels, and you can even use private channels. So that's an option to split up the team and to define who has access to which information. You see immediately that there are new unread messages for you, and it depends. If you have only this bold format, then it's an unread message. If you have this bubble with the red color there, then you see that you were mentioned there. For example, here in my case, I see in the daily stand-up channel, I was mentioned one time. And for me, my priority is in this way that I have a look at the channels with a mention first, and then later on I will have a look at the new unread messages without a mention. I even use the left navigation, so maybe I use the activity feed first, because then I have an aggregated view about my chat messages and my Teams messages. And what I really like and what I want to recommend is use the search and command bar. The search is clear, I think. The commands, that's something which you maybe don't know. So if you start with a slash, then you get a list with many available commands. And I like the go-to command. So I'm a member in a lot of teams, and when I want to switch between different channels, then I use the go-to command. I could also start a phone call or write a chat message there. It's really nice, and it's one of my favorites. And I was talking about external collaboration. When you think about Microsoft Teams, then the internal usage is quite clear, but we don't want to stop there. We want to invite customers or external users, I can also say, into our teams, but we can also be invited by our customers, for example. And if you are invited into a team of an external organization, then you will get this drop down. So on the left side of your profile picture, you will have a drop down. For me at this moment, you see it's conet.de. And if I click on this drop down, I get a list and I can switch to the environment of my customer. It takes a few seconds, but then I'm in the customer environment and I can work together with my customer on a document. I can use the Teams chat and so on. So an external users has a lot of permissions to work together with you. So now we are here coming to our business scenario. So you see this girl here, that's one of my friends, and she's called Tanya. And she came to me and said, we need a business application. And she's working on our invoices. So she writes all the invoices, and when I have done my job and I write a service report, I need to talk to my customer. Okay, last month I was working for you several days and I have the service report here. Dear customer, can you please sign the service report? And then I can give it to Tanya. She will write the invoice and will send it to my customer. Yeah, so you see we have an internal collaboration here, but we have also the external collaboration with my customer. Tanya doesn't know what I have done in detail, and she's not interested in this, but she hates the way we are doing this today. So how is it working today? Today, I'm sitting here at home. I'm doing my job, and at the end of the month, I fill out an Excel sheet. I print it out and I sign it. Then I scan it and send it to my customer. My customer prints it, signs the document, scans it again, and sends it back to me. And then I send this email with the PDF as an attachment to Tanya. She writes the invoice. Maybe she has some questions. In some cases, we have the situation. But then she will write the invoice and she will send it to the customer. And now Tanya said, Nicole, you don't know how boring this job is. So you sent me an email with the PDF attachment. Some other people have the printed version and they give it to me in the office. And then I have to scan this because I need this in the digital format. In other cases, the customer sends me this information. And in a few cases, I get wrong information. And for every project manager, I have a different way how I have to work on this. And I don't want to proceed this way. I want to build a business application. Can you help me? And I said to her, yes, I can do this. In the past, I would have said, yes, I developed you a cool solution, maybe based on SharePoint. You have a document library, and we built some stuff there. But the world has changed, and the world has changed a lot. So, Tanya, you don't need to talk to me about every process step and what we need to do there, because you are able to do this by your own. I will help you to get familiar with the options you have, but you can build your business application. And why is it so? It's time for the citizen developers, and you can build your own app. The intent of the Power Platform is that everybody can build his own app. If you see these hobbits, I love Lord of the Rings, sorry for that. If you see these hobbits, then you have to know, or maybe you already know, that they are the smallest persons in the story of Lord of the Rings. And at the beginning of the whole story, they're enjoying their life. They don't like adventures. They're living very, very silent. And there's nothing more, well, what they wish. But during the story, they are pushed in a direction, but during the story, they become the heroes. They are doing so much which is relevant for the rest of the world. And here that's a picture of the end of the story. They're standing there, everybody takes a knee, and when they come back at home, they're proud of what they have achieved. So it's always so. If you change something, there is one point where it's feeling very hard and you don't think that you will reach your goal, but you can reach your goal if you have a really good fellowship. And that's something I want to talk about at the end of this session. So, but if you think about these hobbits, what can we give or provide to them? It's the Power Platform. So I told Tanya, yeah, let's have a look on the Power Platform. And I know that there are a lot of tools there. So let's start in a small scenario. Our scenario will take us to Power Apps, the AI builder, and we will need one little flow with Power Automate. So what's our scenario? Our scenario is service reports. And you now see here one service report. You see a header information. So we have on the top right corner the creation date. Then we have on the left side the header section with the contract number, a customer, and it ends with the name of the consultant. And after this, we have a data table with the different days I have worked on this project, and it ends with a total. And I send this service report as a PDF to Tanya. But as she told us, there's some cases where she doesn't know what she has to write in the invoice itself. Okay. Now she has to do a few steps. So starting with step 1, she opens the Power App Studio and she creates an AI model. We won't see this in the live demo because it takes some minutes to build the model. So I will show you this in the slides, but we will have a look in the Power App later on. So as you can see here in the Power App Studio, we are going to the section of AI Builder and we use the menu item build. And you see the options which are provided by the AI Builder. We go with the option form processing. And then the first step is name your AI model. I called it service reports, and then I clicked on create. And in the next step, you need a few documents. So I used my latest service reports. You need at minimum 5 documents, but you could also add more. And I would recommend that you add more documents, and they should have the same layout. So I think one of the problems Tanya has is that every project lead has a little bit of different layouts. So in some cases, the creation date won't be at the top right corner. Maybe it's in a footer section or somewhere else. And that's what we need to discuss later on. Okay. If you edit the documents, you will see a short preview, and then you can click on Analyze. And this step takes several minutes. When the model is created, you will see this dialog, and the model has an idea what is the relevant information. So you will see these dotted lines. And if you click, for example, here on the value for the project name, you will see, okay, this field will be called project name, and the recognized value is social intranet with Microsoft 365. In some cases, can be that he doesn't recognize the field, or he doesn't recognize the whole value, or maybe too much. Then you can use your mouse and here and set the right section for the value. You can rename the field. So maybe you don't want to call it project name, you only want to call it project. That's even possible. And then you can commit your changes. We can also use the whole data table, but the total number, as you can see, has its own dotted line. So the total number will be a single value, which you can use later on. If you're fine with the fields, then you can go to and click on Done. And then you are ready to go to step 2 to use the AI model in Power Apps. The last step for creating the AI model is a publishing process. So please don't forget this. And then you can start the creation of your Power App right from the model. But you can also create a Power App from scratch and then add the different components and connect to your AI model if you want. So you have both options right there. But I would say let's see this in a live demo. And now I'm going here. And what do we see here? First, I want to start with Microsoft Teams. I want to show you the final scenario. So I have a team here called Service Report Management, and I created this for Tanya and every project lead. In a future step, we could also think about adding our customers here, or to create a team or a channel for every project that we can split our customers. So customer 1 doesn't see the data of customer 2, but we can have a standard process for this. So, and I didn't only create this team, I also created a channel for service report scan. And this channel, as you can see here, has a tab for a Power App, and I called it service report scan, like the channel. The file section and the wiki, that's all the stuff we all know, which is standard in a Teams channel. But I added a few more things. So we have here service report, that document library, which is existing in the SharePoint site, which is used for the files here. I added a planner plan, and I also added my Power App. If I go here to my Power App, we see it's quite easy. It has a similar structure as a service report itself. And here I can add an image, or I can add a PDF to be analyzed. And then I will get some information as the consultant, the project name, and here the entered data for the service report. And it ends with the total. And then I can share this with the team. And my idea is, okay, maybe I have a printed version, then I could use the mobile Power App and take a picture. And then analyze this and save it as a document in a SharePoint document library. And then we can do some automatic process or so. And on the other hand, when I have a PDF, then I can upload it here and store it in the documents library also. Okay, we can do this here right from the team, but I can also go to Power Apps itself or using the mobile apps. So it would look quite similar. And as you can see here, I also opened the SharePoint document library. At this moment, we have this 3 service reports here. And now I will go with a 4th service report. I click on Analyze, and I think I didn't scan Eve morning. Now it's analyzing. We see a small preview here. It's so small because I choose this layout that it's so small. We could also do this with a larger layout. And you can see here how sure the model is that it recognizes the right value. So it's always 100% because we have a very easy model at the moment. And you can see, okay, the consultant, that's Eve morning. And the project is this project number and this project name. The service report was created on this date, and then we see the detail information, we see the total number, and now I can share this with the team. I could also write share with Tanya because Tanya is our team at the moment. And when I created this, now I have shared this information. Let's have a look. Here it's stored here for Eve morning, and you can see we didn't see the contract number. The project name was there, but we had also here more information like the customer or the decision maker and so on. So we can read every information which is available by the model, even without showing them in the Power App. So, and as we now have seen how we can use our Power App, I want to show you how we built this. And I want to start here with the AI builder. The AI builder has a build and a model section. So the build section was the part which we saw in the slides. And now I want to show you here that you can access your model later on. I have 2 models, but I want to show you the service reports here. And you see the service report, you see the different fields, and you can also get some more information how to use your model in Power Apps and Power Automate. You can also train your model with additional data. So if you think about Tanya, who gets other service reports and they have a different layout, then we can think about training our model to recognize the different layouts, or we can create multiple models, but then we would need multiple apps or multiple screens in our app later on, and we would have to select between them. With user model, we can start the creation of our Power App, but that's already done. So we're going here to Power Apps, the app section, and I created an app called Service Report Scan. This is the app I integrated as a tab in my team. And if I go to edit, then I will see here my app, and this control is quite important because, as you can see here, that's the form processor. And if I go to insert, maybe you don't have this at the moment, then you have here the AI builder section, and you can add a form processor control. And then it's important here, if we go here to the property window, that you use the AI model which you want to use. So if I click on this, then I will see the different models, and I can select my model, or even I could create a new model from my Power App right here. So it's deeply integrated. So, and here, why do I see Eve Morning here at this moment? That was the service report we uploaded a few seconds ago, and my form processor control is called scanner. That's important to know, because if you have this concatenate function that's used to combine different strings, and I have one standard string here, and then I want to combine it with the consultant of my service report. So my form processor control has different fields, and the fields are the ones of my model. So I have a consultant here, and here in this case, I combine standard text with the project number and the project name. Here I don't have a concatenation because I only want to show the creation field. And if we think about the data table, I want to show the whole table. Yeah. Then I have my form processor control, and I want to show a table. So it can be, when I create my model, that I have different tables. So if you have longer documents, and then your tables will be called table 0, table 1, table 2, and so on. You can rename them. I didn't do this in my case, so it's table 0 here at the moment. And I have here also the total, so that's again fields and not tables. And that's why I see this information. So in this moment, when I set this form processor control to use this AI model, then I will get everything out of the box. So I can take my picture, or I can upload my PDF, and I will see this information, but it's not stored in SharePoint so far. So that's done when I click here on this button. I open here this part here, upload service report .run. This is an indicator that we are using a flow here. So I added an action, and I said, let's run a flow. And then I need to add different information. And why do I need to add a file name and this metadata and the file content itself? So that's the image. That's because I configured this in my flow. So if I go to my flow, I only said, okay, that's a flow which is triggered by Power Apps. I want to create a file, and I want to create it here in this SharePoint site in the document library service reports. And I want to ask in Power Apps for the file name. And I want to ask in Power Apps for different metadata. These are the columns we saw in the SharePoint library. And I would also ask for the file content, but why don't I see this here? That's because I need to transform this. So I need to go with a compose action, and I need to transform this in a base 64 to binary string. And then I can use the output here of this action. So that's it. And after this, I can add more actions. So I want to navigate back to a second screen. So that's my success screen. If I close this here, that we see this a little bit better. Go to my success screen. Then I have here screen. Thank you. Tanya will be informed that she can create the invoice. But why didn't I see this when I was using the app here? That's because I forgot to publish my new version. So it's important that you go to files, that you save your new version, and then you publish it. So think about, you need to create your AI model, you need to publish it, you need to create your Power App, and you need to publish every version, which should be available for the others. And you have also the flow. So it's a combination of these three components. And in my case, I also created the document library here for the service reports and added the multiple fields I want to use, because if I have this metadata, then I can create different views, or I could even enhance my flow and add an action, for example, to create a task here in Planner. So I could create a task for Tanya, for example, that there is a new service report and she should work on this, and then she will get an information that she's assigned to this service report. So if I go back to my slides, then we saw how we can build an application with the AR Builder and integrate it into Teams. And last but not least, I want to give you a short checklist to build your intelligent workplace. And the first one, it's not technical, so take responsibility and understand yourself as a citizen developer. Then learn to use the tools of the Power Platform. And in my case, I start with Power Apps and build my first Canvas Power App. I used it on my mobile phone, and then I created my first flow. And later on, I started with the AI Builder, but it's up to you. And if you start, think about a small solution. So create a quick win solution. Just in my case, it's not so much effort for this app, but I integrated it into Microsoft Teams. And Tanya said, okay, we will check this out, and maybe we will roll out the solution to different project managers, and later on we will think about how to integrate our customers and so on. We have this big picture in our mind, but we start with a quick win solution. And if you are doing this, think about how you can inspire your colleagues. Maybe you can build a team. You can talk to each other, you can learn from each other, and you will have a lot of fun if you work together in a team. And then last but not least, share your knowledge and talk about what you are doing, as we are doing this in these events like this one. And that's it. I thank you very much, and I would really appreciate it if you could talk more about your intelligent workplace. So please visit my blog or write me on Twitter, write me on LinkedIn. Let's stay in contact. That's the way how we are doing this today, and maybe we will see each other on another event. So thank you very much, and please keep in mind that there is a raffle. And thank you again to our sponsors.